Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Jim Patterson with EPM Live, and the purpose of our webinar today is to talk about what's new in EPM Live's Fall 2007 release. We have a number of exciting things that we're very proud of and excited to bring to you today, and we're going to give you the highlights so that you can see what areas you might want to explore yourselves. For those of you that aren't familiar with us already, EPM Live is the global leader in SharePoint-based project, portfolio, and work management solutions. Our focus is in this area, and we have a lot of experience in this domain of expertise. We've started in the project management consulting business since 1999, and the solutions that we're going to show you today are really have best practices embedded in them and standards embedded in them that are based upon those years of consulting and working with hundreds and hundreds of clients. One of the value propositions of the EPM Live solutions is that they're fast to get up. We have pre-built solutions so that you can actually get started right away without a lot of lead time for configuration and customization of the solution. We also have some very low-risk approaches so that you can start online with us today in a SaaS model, or you can deploy on-site, or you can go from one to the other in a migration mode if you'd like. One of the things that we have in this proven solution is that it's all based on 100% Microsoft-based software. So it's familiar technology to a lot of folks out there that have Microsoft platforms within their organization. One of the things that we found in deploying solutions for organizations over the years is that not everybody has the same requirements or level of readiness. A common term called project management maturity is something that has been explored by a lot of analysts and a lot of folks in this marketplace. If you look at what Gartner has, the Gartner Group has ascertained, is that there's quite a spread and concentration of where people are at their levels of maturity in project management, meaning one solution is going to fit the needs of all these different audiences and these different levels of maturity. Hence, EPM Live really provides a tier or a continuum of solutions that meet the needs of a variety of appetites, readiness, and maturity. For example, we're going to show you today our new launch of Project Engine, which is a simple, easy to use, easy to get started, web-based project collaboration tool that's offered to folks in an online SaaS model that provides basic schedule management and team collaboration. We have Work Engine, which is really our cornerstone offering that really provides enterprise project and overall work management to organizations. And then we talk about Portfolio Engine that really takes the game up to another level and allows us to add into the mix strategic portfolio management, top-down planning, capacity planning, etc. And we're going to talk to you about all these solutions today in the different offerings. Let's start with Project Engine. Project Engine is really our online project planning and collaboration tool for project teams. So Project Engine is an online workplace where teams, work groups, and organizations can connect and collaborate on projects and tasks. It really is meant to be an online way for folks to get on, create a project collaborative environment for themselves, and be able to get started right away and involve their teams in a very quick and simple fashion. We really have tools in there that really make it simple enough that project management can be for everyone in your project team. It's cost-effective and convenient. We go from a free offering up to very affordable subscription prices depending on the level of capabilities that you want. It is low risk since you can spin it up online, which means you can try it, and if it doesn't work out for you, you can get off at any time. Because it's pre-built, we have fast time to value, meaning you can start managing your projects the first day that you're in. And because we're SharePoint-based and we have common navigation and familiar navigation to a lot of folks out there, it's familiar and easy to use and has a low learning curve. So we really try to get to the three basics if you look at collaborative project management. If you look at the graphic on the right-hand side, we want you to be able to plan, then communicate, and then be able to track and analyze your projects and actually do that in a continuous loop throughout the life cycle of your project. Now, Project Engine itself offers all of these three major capabilities in a very prepackaged, easy to get started mode. What you're looking at here in a picture is a project workspace that's pre-configured that allows you to manage a lot of different dimensions of your projects and be able to collaborate with your team members in a very simple fashion. In this case, for example, you can manage this project and manage your work, your tasks, your issues, collaborate on discussions and wikis and documents, and do all the reporting that you'd want to do in order to get those projects completed successfully. Project Engine offers 3 options for creating and managing project plans and schedules. We really do provide you the power of choice. A lot of lighter weight and easy to use types of project planning systems out there really offer you a singular method for doing project planning. We offer you 3. You can go from as light as simple task lists in SharePoint that allow you to build simple task lists that you can assign work to people. We have an online planner, which is a web-based project scheduling tool that allows you to do all the basics of creating work breakdown structures, tasks, dependencies, and resource assignments, and be able to plan those out accordingly. And we have an out-of-the-box integration with Microsoft Project, so that those of you who use Microsoft Project, which there are many, you can do your planning in Microsoft Project and then publish that data out to any site out in Project Engine to disseminate the assignments and the project plan to the team to view out on the web in their browser. And also get updates back to the project manager from the team in a seamless bidirectional fashion. From a project collaboration perspective, we have pre-configured communication tools that allow you to do things like communicate tasks for individuals or look at the overall schedule right out there in your browser in Project Engine. We have discussions that people can have ongoing discussions on topics as they collaborate on their projects. You can create wikis and other things that you can do to communicate the key essential parts of the project that you want the team to be aware of. We have the full document management capabilities with check-in, check-out, version control. Issue logging is something that's inherent and standard in the tool set. And also, we provide mobile and offline access to folks that want to be able to work when they're not connected to the Internet. From a project tracking and analytics perspective, to track and analyze your projects, we provide a very flexible set of tools to be able to view and report on information. We have a pre-configured library of reports that you can access from day one. We have dashboarding capabilities with charting web parts that allow you to look at and analyze the progress and the metrics on your project. And because it's all integrated with Microsoft tools, things like Excel, Visio, and Access are common ways that the data can be extracted from our solution and presented in a variety of different ways. So let's take a quick look at some of Project Engine and how simple it might be. You can go online with us and subscribe, and actually for free you can get a project workspace like you're seeing available to us here to actually invite an unlimited number of users or team members. So for a singular project you can have as many users as you want at no charge. We do have very affordable subscription models for folks that want to manage multiple projects within the solution or and have unlimited users with varying levels of storage space available to you. When you welcome the Project Engine, there's a lot of help available. We have a full knowledge base. We have training tools. We have forums and blogs. As well as when you come in, you have getting started videos so that you can actually see how to get started very quickly without having to go through a lot of gyrations. Also, if you have projects available to you, the project workspaces in Project Engine would be visible to you here in this list of your projects so that you can go to them immediately. Let me go to the project I have here in Project Engine. In here, you'll see in this workspace, pre-configured, we have a lot of different dimensions of the project that can be managed here. First of all, from a project summary perspective, we can see key indicators on how our schedule is doing and how we're doing on issues that have been raised. We can take a look at active tasks and things that are overdue and what's our completion progress. We can also take a look at, say, what's overdue or what's coming up as far as tasks and issues that we have to deal with within our project schedule. And we have an activity stream here that lets me know what changes have been happening to my project recently so I can see what updates may have been made and by whom. We also have things like reminders on tasks and issues that we have to deal with, as well as metrics on task completion counts, etc. We also have easy methods to actually build a project team. As you invite people to your project engine solution, you can actually build your teams by actually having a set of resources that are available to you on your project and actually move them from your list of available resources over into a list of people who actually can be assignable to this particular project. We can also decide what level of access or what rights we want to give people or what roles we want to give people right here from within the Build Team Access. Once you've built a team, you can actually have a project plan or a project schedule in here. I mentioned the power of choice. This particular Patterson project, named after myself, is actually linked to our online work planner, meaning that you can go into our planner right here in your browser and do all the basics of project planning and scheduling. For example, you can build tasks, you can indent and outdent them, you can show a Gantt chart, you can actually edit your project team like I just showed you, you can assign resources, and you can look at your project details at any given point in time for any given task. The idea here of all the things about building a work breakdown structure, adding summary tasks, milestones, putting in progress, putting in dependencies, all those things are available to us right here from within the browser. And we can actually save the changes we make to our project plan and then publish them out to Project Engine when we're ready for them to be consumed by the team members and the other people that are accessing the solution. We also have the ability for a person to go to one place in this project to look for all their work. Whether I get assigned issues or tasks within the project, all of my tasks and assignable things are available to me so that I can provide updates back to the project manager. Project tasks, I can get a web-based view of the things that I plan within my scheduler, whether I use a simple task list, whether I use the online work planner, or whether I use Microsoft Project. And if I was going to use Microsoft Project, I could actually do that with our project publisher, which I'll show you shortly. You can maintain an issues log for your projects, tracking all your issues and look at all the aspects of that. As you go to create new issues, you can actually track things like their categorization and their severity. You can actually assign people to follow up on these things, and you can carry all the attributes regarding the issues that you want to carry. We can have online discussions, so if we have topics that we want to have our team to discuss on, we can have threaded discussions that actually keep the discussion alive right here in an online forum. Project wikis that allow you to establish pages to communicate other information. Documents of all types can be in here, and using the SharePoint capabilities, we can have full check-in and check-out and version history associated with all of our documents. Different lists that we have around things like announcements and project contacts and meeting schedules, etc., are all available here, as well as being able to run simple reports right from a report library that we provide for you, all the way from things like a project status dashboard that is pulling data directly entered into Project Engine and then rendering them either graphically or, in this case, overdue issues that we might want to deal with. So here we're looking at how we're doing from a work status, plan versus actual work, cost perspective, and issues by priority, as well as the health status at the top. We could also do simple list reports, for example, where we might want to look at things like, for example, all active tasks, for example. The idea is that we can render this data in a variety of flexible ways. Now, the idea here is that you manage individual projects in individual workspaces, but you can, through subscription, have as many projects as you like and be able to build those projects accordingly. The concept of creating a new project is as simple as going to our New Project button and being able to select from whatever available templates that you've had. The idea being for multiple projects, you can go to our Plus model, where you can, for $99 a month, get 25 projects, 15 gigabytes of storage, and unlimited users. The unlimited model, you can actually get unlimited projects, 50 gigabytes of storage, and unlimited users. But you can get that first project at no charge at all, with as many users as you like. Now let's go back and talk about Work Engine. So if we think about Project Engine as being that simple collaborative workspace area where folks can actually collaborate on different dimensions of the project, from a schedule, from a work assignment, from all the collaborative artifacts, et cetera, around that project, Work Engine takes it the next level and really steps it up for the enterprise. So Work Engine actually builds on the capabilities of Project Engine, provides even more capabilities within the workspaces, and then provides a full EPM solution for executing on projects and also to manage all different types of work. So where we step things up with Work Engine is we provide full portfolio visibility. Rather than working on a workspace by workspace basis, we provide automated roll-ups of workspace information so that we can see a full portfolio of projects or full portfolio of work and all the related information at a summary level. So those automated roll-ups of all information, rolling up all risks across all projects, all tasks, all almost any item that we have in the solution is summarizable through our roll-up capabilities. The other thing that we add in the Work Engine mix is the ability to manage all work, not just the traditional waterfall projects like we showed you in the Project Engine, but the ability to use things like our Agile Planner and actually use an Agile Scrum methodology is available to you here within Work Engine, as well as service requests, so service management, those ad hoc requests that come in, the unplanned things that get assigned to folks and it's put in part of their workload can also be accommodated within here. Another factor that we add is the ability to have multiple schedules within a project workspace. For example, if you have a program that's made up of a number of different independent schedules, we can actually manage them all within a common project or program workspace. We also provide extended reporting capabilities with our own reporting solution and reporting database that makes the reporting that we showed you earlier on even more robust. So from a workspace across the enterprise, instead of looking at these things one by one, you can have a variety of different workspaces, traditional projects, product development that might be agile in nature, service requests, some specific disciplines like things that may be subject matter specific like construction workspaces, or software development workspaces that also might be using agile. And then what we do is we provide automated roll-up at a summary level so that the information gets aggregated and presented to you in a way that you can look at the collective set of work rather than on a project-by-project basis. And then we provide a lot of additional tools. So from a portfolio management perspective, we're really providing easy access and dynamic portfolio visibility so that you can look at your portfolio in a variety of different flexible ways, different fields of data, etc. From a resource management perspective, you can start taking all the work assignments that are coming across from all the different projects and work types, whether they be agile, services, or traditional waterfall projects, and start looking at total workloads for resources and teams and departments so that we can see whether or not we're under or over capacity from a bottoms-up perspective where we're rolling it up from the individual task assignments. From a work management perspective, we provide a My Work area for resources so they have one place to go to see everything that's been assigned to them and provide them one easy place where they can provide updates and feedback and status on the things that have been assigned to them. From a schedule management perspective, we still have that power of choice we talked about in Project Engine, where we can do simple task lists, we can use our online work planner, and we can use Microsoft Project in a very dynamic bidirectional fashion to manage our schedules. We also, in Work Engine, introduced the concept of time management, where we have a fully integrated timesheet that allows you to record time and progress against any work item or any element within our system. And then from a business intelligence perspective, our reporting solution offers things like charting web parts that are configurable without writing code, a library of SQL reporting services report templates that you can report on, some best practices reports, as well as being able to do data pulls with Excel and dashboards, etc. The other part of this is the workspace templates that we're talking about are exactly templates that we provide. So for example, we have a library, we have a library of templates that's ever growing, that if you are a Work Engine user or a licensee or a subscriber online with us, by the way, when you get to Work Engine, it's either an online service or a licensed solution you can install in your own SharePoint farm. But the templates that you use, we provide a rich set of those, and they're all available to you for being a WorkEngine customer. And the idea is that you can avail yourself of as many of those as you like, as well as take those as a basis and tailor them a little bit more specifically for your organization. Very quick to get these things established. From an integration perspective, if you think about managing your projects, your agile work, your service management work, and rolling all this up in SharePoint through WorkEngine by providing that enterprise work capability, we can also use it. You may have other sources of work within the organization, and we have some very popular integrations that we do very frequently. We have out-of-the-box integrations with Microsoft Project Server and with Microsoft Project on the desktop. We can leverage what's already being done in Project Server in organizations and also leverage its robust enterprise capabilities, as well as extend it to do other types of work like Agile and service management. We talked about having a bidirectional integration with Microsoft Project on the desktop, and other sources of work might be your ERP system for Microsoft Dynamics, or operational tasks that may come from System Center or another help desk that you might have. And also integration with Visual Studio and Team Foundation Server. Those things can all be integrated so that the workload can be all integrated and viewed in aggregate in WorkEngine. So let's take a quick look at WorkEngine. So very similar look and feel to what we started with in Project Engine, but we're really adding roll-up capabilities. For example, being logged in here as a gentleman named Steve Masters, I come to a landing page, and I have some components that are actually doing some aggregation and roll-up right here when I first come in. For example, any of the projects in the portfolio that I am a member of or an owner of will show up in my active projects, and I can get ready visibility and hyperlink access directly into those projects. I also get my work web part that actually is giving me a roll-up of all the assignable things that are put on my plate, whether they be issues, action items, or even things like approvals on workflows that I need to get assigned, have assigned to me. The idea is that this information is ready for me at a click of a button. Now, for adding a new project into the mix, we provide a very easy way to go in, select a new project, and go into a template library. You can have your own local gallery of templates that you would use from a more regular or frequent basis, meaning standards that you've put in place. And you can select from a variety of templates that could be either agile-oriented or more project management-oriented. And we're always going to have an ever-growing line of online templates that you can grab from and put into your local gallery and promote within your organization. The key is, once those templates are pre-built, and we do provide pre-built templates to you, creating new projects is as simple as selecting one, giving the project a name, and creating it. Now, we provide some navigation capabilities. So if we go into a project center, that project center is going to give me an automated portfolio or roll-up of all the project workspaces that exist out there. This is not a separate artifact or a list that we're maintaining, but our components are actually crawling your workspaces and rendering this data by grabbing data from the details in each of those project workspaces that are out there. We can provide different views of this portfolio, so you can have different columns of data, different sorts and groupings, so you can look at them from a variety of different perspectives. And if I go into a specific project and click on that, it can take me down to the workspace for that project, and a little more capabilities in here than what was in Project Engine at the individual project level. For example, the ability to do a project level My Work area, the ability to see everything that's overdue and things like that, and what's coming up from my work perspective. Being able to look at assignments in here from a project perspective and see all of my project team members and see what's on their plate, whether it be project tasks or issues, etc. We talked about issues before, but additional lists that are available to us in here to manage things like risks and changes and lower level action items and to-dos, and things that you might add to the mix, because this is actually more tailorable and customizable by you for your organization. From a library's perspective, obviously our documents and our wikis, our discussion threads, and our reports like we talked about earlier on. If I go into my task center, you'll see that I have a full work breakdown structure rendered here in SharePoint. We add the capability to have hierarchical renderings of a work breakdown structure as opposed to flat lists in SharePoint. And at the task level, being able to have a variety of different views here as well, so you can take different perspectives on that schedule. Once again, being able to open this up in our online work planner is a key capability that we have in here. So the idea is that you can build these plans without ever leaving the browser, and consider it a lighter weight version of what you might be able to do with Microsoft Project. So here's a fairly complex plan that's rendered here within the browser. Now, that project plan could also be built using Microsoft Project. So here's a different project within the solution that was actually originally created in here. And in this, we actually insert a component called the Project Publisher. This allows us to publish all these details of these tasks, the many, many fields that are available of data in Microsoft Project, and publish them out to our workspaces out in Work Engine and SharePoint. The nice part is not only can you render that information out there like we saw, but you could also get updates back from your team members. If I check for updates here, I can actually go in and take a look and see that 2 updates have been made out in the browser, out in Work Engine and in SharePoint, and I can see who made the updates, what updates have been made, and I can actually accept those updates and actually provide them and actually have them electronically update the tasks in Microsoft Project. Once again, a closed-loop process to communicate that information back. Now, if we go up to the more enterprise level again, I can take a look at what we call My Work. And what's nice about this from a roll-up perspective is that a resource can actually have one place to go to actually see everything that's on their plate, whether they be issues, tasks, or service requests, action items, anything that you put in here, and be able to easily complete them by either checking a box, putting % completes in there, or whatever other status mechanisms make the most sense for you. If you want to supplement this by reporting time, we can actually go into our timesheet, and that timesheet will actually provide us a mechanism to provide good time entry and good time actual information of what time we're spending against our actual project tasks or other work items within the solution. From a bottoms-up perspective, all of these work assignments can actually be viewed by functional managers. So for example, if I go into my resource center, I can actually look at specific resources or teams of resources and see the aggregation of all their assignments and see whether or not that makes them over or under allocated for any specific period of time. In this case, for example, in a what-if mode, I could actually find more available times for a resource to do their work. And I could also go back, and if I wanted to, select a group of resources or a team of resources and actually run that same analysis against them. From a reporting perspective, I can go to our report center. That report center is going to give me that library of reports like I showed you earlier on, but we're going to have more summarizable types of reports. For example, I could have issues in specific project workspaces. And if I want to not go into each individual workspace to see those, I can actually go in and look at a roll-up of all those. Or I can look at dashboards, for example, where I could go in and say, let me see a financial dashboard of how we're performing across all of our projects in the mix. In this case, I'm actually looking at a dashboard that's reflecting multiple projects and a roll-up of a lot of different project information. If I wanted to look at all active issues, instead of going to each individual project workspace, I can actually get an actual roll-up of that information here very quickly. If I want to look at, say, more of an effort-oriented type of dashboard, I could say how are we doing on our work effort and how are we spending our resources from an hours perspective. And I can look at plan versus actual work and then drill into specific projects to get that particular information. We also provide a list and a library of SQL reporting services reports once you get to Work Engine. And in that regard, I can actually run these SSRS reports and actually do things like run a project status summary. And I could run a status report against a particular project, for example. And on an automated basis, out of our reporting solution and reporting database, it's going to pull this information so I can see various dimensions like KPIs, schedule status, cost status, milestone completion, etc. What's nice about this is the online viewer lets you see these reports very quickly on demand, but also allows you to export them to common document formats like PDF, Excel, and Word. One of the things that we've added in our new version 4.2 in Work Engine is some real enhancements in the navigation areas. For example, even if we're at the enterprise level or at the landing page above all the workspaces, we can do almost anything we want to from here. For example, I could go to any workspace I want that I have access to by going into my workspaces. So even if I'm in a specific project, I could actually see a list of all the project workspaces I have access to and jump to them from wherever I'm at in the solution. I can create a new item, meaning I don't have to be in the workspace. If I want to create an issue for a specific project, for example, I could go into this list and just create an issue. And from a list, I could choose which project I want to associate that issue with and then create it without having to go all the way down to the project workspace in order to do that. So essentially, we're really taking that workspace collaboration concept and expanding it to multiple projects, automated roll-ups, and visibility of the entire project portfolio so we have access to the full mix and the full picture of what we're doing from an execution perspective. So portfolio management to the extent that we have portfolio visibility, but not real full portfolio strategic analysis, which we're going to get into next. So let's talk about Portfolio Engine. And Portfolio Engine is really where we get into that strategic portfolio planning for executives. Portfolio Engine really provides strategic top-down PPM or project portfolio management capabilities. We really provide the ability to do portfolio selection and alignment of your portfolio to make sure that your portfolio items or your projects are aligning with the organization's overriding strategic objectives and business drivers. We provide top-down resource capacity planning. We provide detailed cost planning and budgeting. We also provide enhanced what-if modeling and optimization so you can do some what-if analysis to see what the optimum portfolio is based on the mechanisms and the scoring and the prioritization that you're doing within your process. And what's nice about this is we can do this top-down strategic portfolio planning by itself as an executive governance or steering committee type of tool, or we can add it to all of the Work Engine capabilities, and everything I showed you in Work Engine would be available to work alongside in Portfolio Engine, meaning with Portfolio Engine you get the full breadth of all the capabilities that we have to offer. So from a capacity planning perspective, if you're in your portfolio of projects, they could be both proposed or active projects, for example, you can actually start doing top-down capacity planning. Long before you have a detailed schedule and start doing those bottoms-up roll-ups I showed you earlier on, you can start doing kind of FTE or hours-based planning by role or by resource individual at a high level from the top down so that you can get an idea of what the resource commitment or the need is or what the resource investment that's being asked for when you propose a project. When that comes together and you do this for all your portfolio items, both active and proposed, you can start very dynamically looking at capacity versus demand. You can start looking at by individual resource, by role, by department, and seeing whether or not the proposed portfolio we have is even doable within the context of the resources we have at our disposal, or perhaps let us know where contracting or additional hires may be required. From a cost management perspective, from that same portfolio, we can build very detailed cost budgets. So time phase budgets based upon units or hours or FTEs of roles and rates, or just hard dollar costs regarding things like materials and contracts and software and other types of costs. So from the detailed basis, you can roll up a total budget or total cost for each individual portfolio item. We can also look at these costs at a portfolio level so we can start comparing actuals with budget and seeing where, from a budgeting perspective, we are overrunning what we thought we'd spend for any individual project. From a what-if modeling perspective, we can look at both costs, look at resources, and look at other dimensions to really determine what the best mix of our portfolio might be. If we use our modeler, we can look at a potential list of projects, and we can include or exclude projects. We can move projects in time so we can stage or sequence them a little differently so that we can resolve, if you look at that color-coded heat map at the bottom of that screen, so we can look at where we can reconcile this so that we can actually provide a mix of projects that's actually doable within our cost and our resource constraints. At the end of the day, we're going to capture all the data we want to regarding the project or proposed projects and be able to look at them and score them according to the metrics that we want to use within our organization, and then be able to analyze the portfolio and try to optimize as best we can so that we get a portfolio that's doable, that aligns with our goals and objectives in the organization, and fits within our cost and resource constraints. So if we go to take a look at that in the live software, let's take a look. Let's say, for example, I have a proposed project, and I want to do some capacity planning for it. I can go into our capacity planner, and it will bring me up a tool that will allow me to build a capacity plan for this portfolio item. My apologies. Let's try that again. Let me bring up the capacity planner. And this capacity planner would allow me, either by named individuals or just by roles, to plan, in this case, in an FTE perspective. And I can choose to plan in either full-time equivalents or hours, for example, if I wanted to. The idea being is I can use the planning method that makes the most sense for me to plan what the resources are that I need. And the idea is I can do that over time. Let me go back to a more proposed project. And bear with me a second. Let's go to a proposed project here called Office Equipment and Tracking System. That capacity planner for a proposed project might have primarily roles that we're actually planning to. And here I might be looking at FTEs again. I can just do it and toggle to hours or FTEs as I like. But the idea here is that I need a developer, a DBA, tester, trainer, and a project manager here. Here I need 25% of a project manager over 3 months for this particular project is what I'm projecting. Let's just say I wanted to look at a developer, and I need a developer here. And let's say I want a developer from the software development department. I can actually go in at the appropriate time, and I can find an appropriate match of resources and look at who might be viable candidates that actually have the skill sets and the possible availability to do these particular this particular project. For example, the highest rated resource I have here is Brian Johnson, who I can then actually make the developer on this particular project and add them to the team. The idea is we can do this type of capacity planning for all of our projects and look at it a variety of different ways. For example, if I go in and look at a capacity plan now, even though I've planned them by individual projects or portfolio items, I could go into an organization department view like software development, and I can see what the commitment is of my department. First, I can see which portfolio items my department has been asked to be on. I can see what the resource commitments are, and I can see what resources on each of these projects are being committed for me. I can also take a look and see from a resource by resource perspective where that aggregates into overallocation, like for Eric here. I can also choose, for example, to choose not to look at it by resources, but total these things up by individual roles. So for example, down below, when I go to look at roles, I can see that really it's the developer role where I have my resource constraint in here. So I could look at here for all resource roles within my department. And if I look at the graph up above, I can see that I'm well within capacity from a headcount perspective in general within my department. But when I go and look at the actual developer role within here, I can see that I have definite overallocation periods for them. The idea, by doing this from the top down, we can slice this in a variety of different ways and do resource portfolio analytics. If I go back to the Project Center, I could choose to look at these same type of projects but start managing cost and budget. The cost planner will actually allow me to build very detailed cost budgets around any portfolio item. Here I've got labor categories, and then I'm building costs up by units or FTEs that are actually these hours or this level of usage times a rate to give me a cost. I can also have categories of cost and budget line items that are actually just planned by hard dollars. And the idea is that I can plan those from a dollar-by-dollar basis. At the end of the day, though, I'm going to come up with a total budget or a total cost for my project that's actually based upon very detailed cost information. Not only that, I can actually provide comparisons of things like your budget versus your actuals. So I can bring in actuals from our timesheet on labor and also bring in actuals from your financial system and other categories, for example, to look at how we can compare our actuals with our plan. So if I look at things like a budget, for example, I can actually have views where I compare the actuals and the budget. Now the other piece that's very strong in here is the idea to do portfolio modeling. Let's just say I have these proposed and active projects on my plate. I can select all of my proposed projects and I can select all of my active projects and say I want to look at this in my modeler. This modeler will then open up a view that shows me all the projects that I selected for this analysis, both from a data perspective and from a timeline perspective. It also shows me the ability to have the look at the net result or aggregate costs that it would take to do this entire selection of projects. So I can look at it from a cost or, for example, from an FTE perspective. Now, if I'm looking at it from an FTE perspective, I could actually overlay targets like a headcount budget or a cost budget. And if I apply those targets on here, I can see that there's periods in this heat map that says that there's certain roles from project manager, business analyst, program analyst on down where I have periods where I do not have the headcount or the resource to actually do the projects as they're laid out here. Based upon priorities and scoring mechanisms of your choosing, and we have some prescribed ones that you can use out of the box, but the idea here is I could say unselect projects until I get close and actually reduce the resource commitment. I could also do a combination of that and say we also want to maybe say let's deselect those projects, but let's change the timing of some other projects to see if we can get them to fit within our mix. And now it looks like in the horizon I'm looking at here, now have a selection of projects and a timing of projects that might be doable within the headcount that I have. We can save versions and we can compare them so we can look at different scenarios as we're evaluating what the right mix of is for the portfolio in the organization. We will be providing in our upcoming portfolio engine solution that you can get access to the ability to put in business drivers and risk assessments and other scoring mechanisms so that you can do very objective scoring for your projects and factor that into the mix. And the idea, having a portfolio where you can actually look at these things like a portfolio summary that gives you this portfolio sorted by things like the projected returns and how well they align and what the alignment scores are and risk assessment scores, et cetera, are all inherent in the solution that we provide out of the box. So from a continuum perspective, we really went from simple project collaboration in Project Engine, up through enterprise project management in Work Engine, and then adding to that mix top-down strategic portfolio planning, all within the same tool set. Now you can actually try us out at epmlive.com. You can go there today. On the Project Engine, you can actually sign up for a free project workspace and begin working with it today with as many team members as you want. You can actually step that up to multiple projects for a fee. Also for Work Engine and Portfolio Engine, you can either click on the buttons to learn more or request a free trial environment so that you can actually get hands-on with the solution and see how it might fit for you. So hopefully the goal today was to show you where we're going, the branding of the 3 new products that we have available in the different tiers. I think the key here is that EPM Live provides project and portfolio management and just overall work management that whether you start at a simple level, there's a lot of headroom and growth for you, so you don't have to select a different company and a different set of tools as you outgrow things or as you mature through the project management perspective. From Project Engine through Work Engine through Portfolio Engine, we have room for growth and a lot of capabilities that can meet the needs of a wide variety of people. So hence, enterprise project and portfolio management and just overall work management for everyone. Thank you for your time today, and hope you have a great day.